Okay, we've got our parts built, and now we want to export them and get them ready for printing. So we can delete things that we don't need, like some of these guides. There we go. Not necessary, but we can do it, and we'll just leave it. Okay. Final look over here. Thing looks fine. Now with SketchUp, our export options are quite limited. We are exporting a 3D model. And we'll call this SketchUp. And you're really limited here to the DAE, which is a proprietary Google file, and then a Google Earth file, which is a .kmz, and it talks to the Google Earth. So if this were an architectural detail and we wanted to upload this to Google Earth, it'd be ready to go. So we'll just check out the options that they have here. Triangulate all faces, sure. Export only what we have selected, yes. Hidden geometry, no. Edges, it's not necessary. Two-sided faces, no. I think the default has all of these checked, right? But we really want to minimize what we're exporting. And triangulate all faces is a good one, and we'll see next why. Materials, we're not using any materials. So SketchUp, that's as simple as that. And we'll go over to AutoCAD and we'll see something slightly different. In AutoCAD, we can export directly to stereolithography files, and we will do that. We'll just call this AutoCAD. We can do stereolithography drawing files, FBX. So that'll save us a step. Export it directly as an STL. Good. And okay, so we've created our files, we've exported them, and theoretically here from this STL we could just go right into our 3D printing software with it. But first, with the SketchUp file, we can't, because I guess I'll need to introduce to you Repetier host, what we're using here, and SketchUp.dae. Yeah, major errors. We cannot import DAE files. It'll try, but major errors. Now if we try to load the AutoCAD file, we can do that, but you'll notice Repetier host, the software we're using, is bringing this in as centimeters. Okay, so where this was 3, instead of bringing it in as 3 inches, it's bringing it in 3. Actually, it might be, that looks like millimeters. And you see a lot of errors here too. See, some walls aren't there. Okay, and this has to do with the face normals, the way it's triangulated, the number of shells, just a number of things as you become more experienced with building models, things that you can fix during the building process. But in the beginning, as you're starting out, you're going to have a lot of models coming in here that aren't anything like what you intended. Okay, so what we're going to do with both these files is repair them. And so we'll do that through a service called Netfabb Cloud Service. And they do sell software, but they also just provide this Netfabb Cloud Service beta. So we'll go right in and ask you to load the file, and that will be our AutoCAD. Provide an email address for them, and we built this in units. Okay. So we upload that to the cloud. It's a very small file, and then we'll notice right in, I immediately get an email telling me, oh, its file is processing. I'm sure if we leave it, okay, there we go. Reload that, processing finished. And if you wait here, it'll load a graphic for you. You can see the repaired files. What you do want to take note of here is that here's the file we gave them. It had 204 triangles, number of holes 2, number of shells 5, meshes not manifold, not oriented. And then when we get the repaired file, it added more triangles, and the mesh became manifold and oriented. Okay, so we'll download that. And it automatically renames it with _fixed. So we've downloaded that, and we'll go back into Repetierhost, and just by that Netfabb Cloud Service, I want to show you how much that helps. There you go. Still have some problems here. So we will revisit those in AutoCAD. What happened here is some of the walls were not joined with the others. So we're going to need to rethink how we went about building that. So the first one we did is just fine. So if I wanted to repeat that process 5 times, I could. And in fact, I probably should just do that. So let's go back into AutoCAD. Okay. So, okay, clearly this is not even joined. Those are still separate. Okay. So here we go. That's so basically what I'm seeing from this is that we could simply take this and extrude it over to this side. Here we go, and that gave us this. There we go. This is the piece we want. So let's just go and re-export that. Let's just overwrite. Go back into Netfabb. We can just process the next file. Simple as that. Go into Outlook. with this, we actually have less triangles than we did before, because now we're no longer calculating those back faces and hidden faces. So this is good. We'll just override that. Yes. Some objects have changed. Let's not reload those, because now we want to compare. Ah, yes. Here we go. Voila. So the big change here is that Netfabb definitely gets the units correctly. When we're using multiple software and they're working with different units, and then they're exporting as different units, and then Repetier or Makerware imports them as different units, it gets everybody talking on the same page. So let's get rid of the files we're not working with here. And so here is our AutoCAD model. Now with SketchUp, if you recall, we exported this as a DAE. It was one of our only options. Now, what I use is this online 3D model converter. And so you can see that let's get back to home. This is cancel all. There we go. Delete all. Okay, so when you load the page, it's going to look like this. We want to add a file. This will be our sketchup.dae. Actually want to upload that. And our output, we want to be a stereolithography file. So it's going to begin processing that. Perfect. Conversion successful. And then we can download the file right here. And this will be sketchup.stl. And I still want to go in and take this into Netfabb. But before I do that, I'll show you. There you go. Same problem with the units. So it looks right. It's on a different axis. So what I'm showing you here is things you can expect to see when you get into the 3D printing process. So let's take this into Netfabb. Okay, processing. Processing failed. Unfortunately, your uploaded file sketchup.stl was not processed successfully. Mesh could not be loaded. Invalid file. sketchup.stl. Okay, well, in that case, let's take a look at this. So we want to know, first of all, let's get this rotated correctly. The scale, I believe, was going to be 24.5. Well, does this look different because we built it differently? Let's check. that's 3 inches, right? Quick calc. 2.25. Okay, so I did not build the same object. That's fine. So what we're looking at is the way everything the way it should be. So on this one, on this SketchUp file, I exported it as a DAE, converted it to an STL. The online converter could not process it, and I wonder if these markings here have something to do with it. I would certainly think so. And then this is green. Let's do okay. So let's take a closer look at the SketchUp file. Let's group everything. Okay. I want to get rid of those measurement marks. So let's undo the grouping. Let's move this out of the way for now. Yeah, here we go. Let's just take a look inside. So there's some extra edges that go down here. That's interesting. So we don't need those. Okay, let's hide that. Okay. Let's clean this up a bit. Okay. And even though I said we didn't have to, let's go ahead and delete the extra geometry, the construction geometry. Let's group that. Let's overwrite. Let's process this new file. See if this new file will give any errors under Netfabb. And while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and reload the uncorrected file into Repetier. Yeah, we expected that. Okay. And if we do yeah, this looks a lot better. Okay, so that hidden geometry was definitely messing us up. And I bet you that this, there we go, processing finished. There we go, so here's the fixed file. Let's go ahead and download that. Alright, so we learned something new, that hidden geometry really can mess things up. And then let's see what it looks like when we load it in. There you go. It automatically scales up the units. So that's great. That's great. We can see that we can get some things done on our own, but having a really nice, clean geometry makes the whole process go better. So that does it for building a model, exporting a model, cleaning the model up, and loading it into the 3D printing software. On the next video, we will talk about 3D printer software settings, and then we'll get into the hardware and printing prep, and then after that we'll do an actual video where we print these objects, and then we'll get into some other materials and print them several times, and finally we'll talk about redesign based on what we learned with prototyping. Okay.